Assalamu alaikum. This is your computer science teacher, Sir Fawad Akhtar Ansari, and today I designed another question for you. And question, let's study the question, then I explain you further. Write a program in your chosen high-level language to input a number, then write a function to return input numbers squared. Like if you input 2, so it will return the input numbers square. It means 2 square, 2 2s are 4. Then write another function to calculate the cube of a square. For example, I input 2, so the square of the 2 is 4. Now now we have to write a function to calculate the cube of a square. So we have to find the cube of a 4. So 4 for the 16, 16 for the 64. And then we have to display the square and the cube. So now let's try to make this try to make the Python code, and then we discuss further. Okay, now I am leaving some lines for my function. So first I write a main program. Oh, sorry, I write a main program. So in the main program I take user input. So I use a variable number, and I take my data type integer. You may take float, it's up to you. Then I write the keyword input, and then a prompt, enter enter. Now I am going to make a function to calculate the square of the input number. So now I write the name of my function. For example, calculate underscore square. This is my function name, and now it's time to write the parameter name. I take the parameter user underscore input. Now it's time to return the value. So I return the square of user input. So user underscore input. For the square we type 2 times asterisk sign. Now the function has been completed. Now next step is to calculate the cube using a function. Now it's time to make a function of a cube. So I copy the entire function. I just change the name, calculate underscore cube, with the same parameter that we used in the square function, and then instead of the 2 we take 3. Now it's time to go in the main program. So in the main program I first take this function, and I just copy the name of the function with the parameter, and instead of the user input I take the variable number that is used in the main program, and I store this function into the variable square. Now the next interesting part is that we have to calculate the cube of the square. So I take this function of a cube, and instead of the user input I take the variable square, because we have to calculate the cube of the square, so that is why I'm using it, and I'm storing it in the variable cube. Now I have called the function into the main program. I have performed the calculations. I have created the functions, and now it's time to display. So print square is square. Oh, sorry, inverted commas close, comma square. Now I copy the same code and paste it here to save my time. Cube of the square is, and here I will write the variable name cube. Now here our program has been created. Now it's time to test the code whether it is working or not and debug it if there are any bugs. Now enter a number. For example, I input 2. So the square of the 2 is 4 and the cube of the square is 64. Okay, it is working. Now let's do another test. Let's suppose I take the number 3. So 3 3 is a 9 and the cube of the 9 is okay. So our code is working. So I want you to practice the same code with your own logic. Try to add some validation checks. Try to add some more logic. Try to do some creativity in the same code. As I told you that there are many variants of the same program available. So don't copy the programs, just think about it that how can you make this program more better, more readable, more logical, more up to the mark. So you can improve your logic, you can achieve good marks in the exam. So yeah, this is just for your practice. I hope you understood the concept and thank you so much for watching the video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.